As if these videos aren't too self-indulgent to begin with, I'm now drinking out of a cup with a giant M on it. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Yeah, got that skiddy scat. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Martin, and today we're looking at Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior. You're probably asking, maybe, that why aren't we looking at Mad Max 1? Obvious answer, I've seen it. I've also seen Fury Road. I saw the first Mad Max a few years back, and I've seen it again not that long ago, actually, weirdly. Not by design or anything, but and I've watched Fury Road countless times. It's one of my favourite movies of all time, which is rare for like a new movie to sort of make its way into that list. But I'm familiar with the world, is basically what I'm getting at. I'm familiar with the character of Max. I'm familiar with sort of George Miller's vision for this universe, and I'm familiar with it through pop culture because, Mad Max again is one of those things that has been referenced countless times in other media and stuff. So I'm familiar with it in a few different ways, and I just find it fascinating. I've played the video game as well, the video game that came out not too long ago. So it's a universe I'm not completely ignorant of or naive to. It's something that is part of pop culture I consume, and it is indeed, I have consumed elements of it itself. From what I remember in the first film, it's not quite as apocalyptic as the rest of the franchise seems to go. It seems to be more of a dystopia because there's still society in place and there's still law enforcement. Like, Max himself is part of the law enforcement in the original film, and I'm also fairly sure the first film only came about because George Miller and people he was working with had their hands on these cars, and then they were like, well, I suppose we should make a movie with them or something along those lines. Like, that's kind of how the genesis of the whole thing worked. But I'm fascinated to see The Road Warrior because this is really, as I'm aware, the movie that sort of formed sort of Mad Max into what we now perceive it to be, because the first one's very different from the rest of them, as I'm sort of told and been made aware of. But the second one is really the one that encompasses what people associate with Mad Max, and I'm just interested to see. I'm interested to see if it is its own thing, if it's kind of like a Fury Road like predecessor in that kind of vein or not. Yeah, I'm interested to jump in, see what this is all about, and I'm probably going to enjoy it because it seems like the kind of movie I would enjoy. So, spoilers, I suppose, for how this is probably going to turn out. But other than that, that's really it. Let's jump into Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior. Like, if I had a list of my top 5 favourite fictional cars, the Mad Max one would be on there for shoresies. Ooh. Oh, the moves! The moves! That's a big oops right there. I'm kind of liking how we're being dropped straight into the fucking action. It's pretty similar to Fury Road in that way. It's just like we're fucking in it. Ugh. Ugh. Max is just like, yeah, you keep doing you, buddy. You do what you have to do. Somehow, I think we will probably see that guy again. Big zombie man! Oh my god, he cracked a little tiny smile. And that was the last time he ever smiled. Okay, you fucking on your own head do it. Throw a snake at him.
A quick fella might have a weapon under there.
I mean, he hasn't survived this long for no good reason. Both of them, in fact. Yep, the dog's gonna get you, bitch. Oh my god. That's not terrifying at all. I mean, Max has had time on his hands, I suppose, to train a dog, so... I mean, look at all that fuel they're wasting just by fucking spinning round and round and round. Oh my god, it's Jason Voorhees.
I show you the gas and you let me go, right?
The arrangement was I wouldn't kill you.
He's got to make sure you don't fucking run off while he does this. Like, you could get to his car, anything. I want some of that food. You eat my food again, Max? I feel like there's enough of these cars to just fucking ram their way in there. Like, why would you send someone directly to the invading force? Max is just as confused as I am. What's the game plan? Ooh, that's a stack. I like how we're very quickly setting up in this world where everyone is an opportunist in some way. There are definitely people who are villainous as well. Yeah, you fucked up, buddy.
Save it. I'm just here for the gasoline.
I feel like Max, he's going to be telling himself, I'm just in this for gas. And there's probably a truth element to that. But I feel like because he was, you know, he was a law enforcement person in the first film, and he believed in looking after his family and stuff, I feel like there's probably is just an innate goodness in there buried inside him somewhere. Interesting that they're all wearing white as well. Traditional filmmaking technique of denoting where they fall on the moral compass.
Gotta hand it to you, Treasure. The last of the V8 Interceptors. Would have been a shame to blow it up.
I mean, you can't just take his fucking car. Like, you're like, fair enough if you don't want to give him any of the gas, but don't be a dick and take his car with it. Whoever's plan it was to send all those people out amongst a marauder brigade that was sitting outside your fence, they need firing. Demoting at the very least.
A rig big enough to hold that fat tank of gas. What a puny plan. Look around you.
What a puny plan. Oh! Jesus! Yeah. Duck for cover! Duck for cover! Don't do it! Oh! What an idiot! What a fucking moron!
I will give you safe passage, wasteland. Just walk away, and there will be an end to the horror.
I mean, they're kind of on the back foot by having to offer this ultimatum in the first place, because clearly they can't get into this place. So that's why they've come here saying, well, if you just leave, we'll let you live. You know what I mean? Like, if they could take the fuel, they would have just taken it. Max is like, I respect you, kid.
2 days ago, I saw a vehicle that'd haul that tanker.
You did.
You want to get out of here? You talk to me.
I guess he got out. I guess the man got away. Oh, he's just fucking dragging the tree stump with him. Yeah, good luck with surviving with that attached to you.
No taste. Empty. All this time.
Yeah, he fucking plays you like a sucker.
That's dishonest. Love.
About me, you're not gonna leave me here, are you? Do what you want.
He hated him 5 minutes ago, and now he's like, hey, you let me go, you get me go, we're buddies now. Suppose in this kind of world you'd value that, so yeah, that was probably a stupid thing to do. Oh no, no. Fuck that. It's my sentiment on that. Oh god. This would suck if he hits. I mean, that couldn't have gone any better for them. There's some weird reversed footage in this film. Like, it's clearly like reversed and in a faster speed. It's weird. Max is so just like, this guy is a fucking dork.
It'd be much safer up there. What are we waiting for, eh?
This is not the guy I would go sneaking off with.
Have to come, Sonny. This is where we're going. Paradise.
Yeah, good luck with that hopeful pipe dream.
Fresh water.
What burned you out, huh? Kill one man too many? See too many people die? Lose some family?
Yeah, you don't want to go down this trail of thought with him. Yeah, you should not have been getting up in his face. Like, what did you expect to happen?
See you around, maybe. Goodbye. Good luck.
He's not gonna fucking abandon them. Like, he's gonna come back and help them in some way. I know how movies work.
Disobey me, you puppy.
Disobey me. This guy's just... Did Arnold Schwarzenegger just dub this guy's lines? Like, what is going on? What the fuck? How did that flip the car? Unless he just fucking lost it while he was, you know, recovering from a fucking pipe to the face. Don't do it. Don't fucking do it. I'm talking to this guy and the movie. Yeah, you shouldn't have done it. You should not have done that. He could see it as well. He had, like, easy access to it. And he still fucking fucked it. Mel Gibson looks like he's having a fucking great time filming this shot. So what we're going to do, Mel, what we're going to do is have you dazed and confused hanging out the side of a helicopter. And we're going to fucking fly you around. You're alright with that, right? You're good with that. You don't mind.
It's all the same to you. I'll drive that tanker.
The offer is closed. Too late for deals. No deal.
Right, don't be a little petty shit about it.
I'm the best chance you've got.
This is true, and you all know it. Even at half capacity, he's fucking better than all of you.
Right, let's get moving.
I'm imagining the game plan here is that they've maybe somehow moved the fuel from the tank somewhere else, so they all think it's... Yeah, that was fucking dumb of you lot to go in there, like they were really just gonna let you have it. Fucking idiot. It's Jesus! We definitely don't need the camp set anymore, right guys? We're good. We've filmed everything we need to film in there. Now we are in fucking Fury Road territory right now. This is a scene from Fury Road, more or less. Oh no! No, 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 they're fucked. That guy is like dragging that car along now by his leg. Oh, oh, oof, oof. The vehicle stunt work here is really impressive, especially for the time, and probably way less health and safety sort of standards. Oh god! Oh my god! Jesus! Oh my god! Oh my Christ! Jesus! That was not a, that was a guy. That had, I swear to God, that was a guy who fucking did that. Oh god! That's, oh. Yep, here he comes. Here he, oh, he's out. Oh. Oh. Oh, hi. Oh, that was a fucking pulverizer. Jesus. I mean, I'm still going with the theory that they moved the fuel somewhere else, so hopefully, we're good. Yes, it's got sand in it. See? Fucking, I know how the thing goes. I assume they didn't actually let Max know the plan. Oh my god, is he alive? How is he alive? It would make sense that they wouldn't tell him, because that would make him, you know, drive harder and faster and all that stuff. So it would make sense not to tell him.
We found a new leader, the man who came from the sky.
Oh, that guy's in charge now? I mean,
And just as Papagella had
he shows survival instinct,
we
but
traveled far beyond the
he's still a bit of a
reach
creep.
of the machine and the road warrior. That was the last we ever saw of him.
he's got that guy's car. He got the fucking rocket car. Okay, that was the reaction to Mad Max 2 The Road Warrior. If you enjoyed it, please hit the thumbs up button. Let other people know you liked it and helps this video get seen by more people. And maybe consider subscribing so you don't miss anything in the future. But for now, we're going to talk about the movie. Well, first things first, I can definitely see the comparisons between this and Fury Road. It's like that, the final 30 minutes is basically the precursor to Fury Road. It's like a direct scene from that movie, just, you know, done here. And obviously in Fury Road he was able, with how technology has advanced and how you can do things now, he was able to step it up to probably the level he wanted to do it here. But, you know, there were obviously more limitations in that, but this was still really impressive. Like the kind of vehicle stunt work and just human stunt work and everything is still incredibly impressive. And as I said, if it's in the reaction, probably way less health and safety guidelines to be going around, so you could tell there were some stunt people here who definitely risked life and limb in such a way that I don't think would necessarily be accepted now. But yeah, it was truly impressive, some of the stunt work here. Alright, I was just trying to look up because I'm fairly sure I'd heard a story that one of the, if not multiple, one stunt in particular caused a bit of trouble. Like, I think I don't know what happened exactly. Like, it was like a near fatal accident. I think it was the one where the guy, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised by this, but the one where the guy hit the car and then went like spinning off camera. I'm fairly sure that wasn't meant to happen like that. Like, the original plan was something like he was just meant to like slip over the car or avoid the car, but it ended up like spinning out of control. And I'm fairly sure I've heard that story somewhere before. I'm sure someone in the comments will pick it up and tell me, but you know, that just goes to show the insanity that, you know, in the early 80s you could get away with that. You might not be able to do so much now. But, you know, it makes for visually impressive storytelling nonetheless. And that's another thing I sort of picked up from Fury Road. Although this has more sort of dialogue and like an exchange of characters and stuff in a more traditional way, there was a lot of just expressing the story through visuals, set pieces, and, you know, just not feeling the need for someone to talk through everything. You know what I mean? Like, Max barely has any dialogue in this film, and he doesn't need it, because like you totally get where he's at just from the little pieces he gets and what he is doing visually. Like, you know, it feels, I get why some people find that kind of jarring in a movie, because in movies we're trained to sort of expect people to be talking constantly, talking about what they're doing, why they're doing it, how they feel about something, all that stuff. We're sort of trained to expect that from a film. Here, this feels much more kind of real, and it's the same with Fury Road in that, you know, normally in normal life, people don't do that. You know, we don't talk in exposition in real life, and, you know, unless we absolutely have to. So I mean, it's interesting to see like kind of a precursor to that from George Miller as well, just trying to play with the idea of just exploring storytelling through these kind of operatic action sequences where you're just picking up on the emotional cues from how people are doing certain things, like physically, and the music helps as well, and all that kind of stuff. It's interesting to see where that idea sort of started for him. Also, I liked the inclusion of the, sometimes with movies and TV shows, if you try to introduce like a child character, it goes one way or the other. Like Aliens is an example where it really worked, really worked, and I think it works here as well with the sort of the feral boy, and also having him be the narrator, telling the story of this event that takes place. It sort of helps the kind of folktale hero aspect of the Mad Max universe, and it works because obviously in the first film he loses his child and wife, and having the kid here, you know, it's very similar to Aliens in that way. It's the whole idea of the life of innocence and like parenthood and stuff that our hero missed out on is then sort of brought back up to them emotionally via this child who seems to latch themselves onto them. And obviously here it's very suitable because the child is like this feral survivor, and instantly picks up on Max is probably a good person to stick to if in this world. Like they sort of, you can recognize the survival abilities, and you know, and through Max we get to see him sort of. I like how this film handles that. Like I like how, again, it goes back to the exposition thing. I like that if you've seen the first film, you get it. You know what I mean? Like you get what the emotional turmoil for the character is, but you don't necessarily have to have seen it. Like if they decided to put in a bunch of dialogue where Max explains himself to these people, I feel like a chunk of the audience who may not have ever seen the first film would be slightly, oh, okay, that makes sense. But if you haven't seen it, you don't need it, and you can just sort of pick up on Max sort of being at odds with other people, having a child around, all that. I think there's enough visual cues there to cue you in, so that's something he's not wholly comfortable with, but also feels like there is a good person there who wants to look after people. But if you know the backstory, you can read into it and you can see that he's having trouble. He's troubled by the idea of letting people in too close because of what happened in the previous film, and I liked the way that this film handled that, and you see it just written over his face in certain moments when when he's interacting with the kid, interacting with the other like group like friendly. I say friendly, loose sense of the word, because they're kind of dickish as well in their own way, but they're the lesser of two evils, I suppose, in this world where everyone's a opportunist and does what they have to survive. So, you know, take what you can get at the end of the day. If I had a criticism of this film, is that I feel the main head honcho bad guy isn't as interesting. Well, he's not as interesting as Immortan Joe from Fury Road, that's for damn sure. But also, he's not as interesting as the sub-villain. You know, like sub-villain, again, doesn't have much to say, but his visual design is much more out there, and he feels like he interacts with the protagonists a lot more than our main villain. Like, our main villain is just a guy with a hockey mask who talks a bit like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he has big muscles, and that's kind of it. He's not the most interesting head villain in the world, but his sub-boss, like, again, much like Max, he has there's a lot of visual cues that tell you about the sort of person he is, and it's more interesting than not Jason Voorhees. But that would be my one criticism of the film, is that he was just kind of almost laughable. Not quite laughable, but almost laughable, that head villain. But no, I really enjoyed the film overall. I think it's a great action movie. It really, it holds up pretty well. Like, the way that it's filmed, like, there's some big sweeping wide shots, and, you know, even when it's not a set piece, an action set piece, it's the logistics involved in making sure all those vehicles are moving where you want them to move, so you can get them in shot, especially when they're that far away. And you know, like, it can't have been easy. There's a lot of stuff happening in this film which I can see being a logistical nightmare. Just trying to organize the drivers, make sure they know what they're doing, make sure the actors who are involved in the scenes with the drivers and all that know what they're doing. Like, it piles up, that stuff. So it's very impressive that it comes off as smoothly as it does, I think, and especially in a time when you don't have modern technology to like cover up the gaps and the mistakes and the, you know, all that kind of stuff, and you just have to try and get it in camera if you can. But no, it's great. I really enjoyed this. It was a fun old time, and yeah, it's just a solid 80s action film which has a surprising amount of depth for something that has very little dialogue or anything like that, and, you know, character stuff and world building stuff. You know, there's a very good reason, I can absolutely see it, why this vision of the apocalypse really took people's imaginations and has been replicated, built on in all kinds of other media, and either in parody form or people can't help themselves but be influenced by this vision of the apocalypse. Like, you see the Mad Max apocalypse style being copied and imitated in countless other forms of media, not just films, but, you know, video games, comics, stories, just, you know, it's all over the place. Absolutely see why, because it is visually very interesting, and it's not the easiest thing to do when you're effectively just filming on a blank space of desert. You know, so how do you make that more lively? You give the characters these big interesting vehicles, you give them these weird costumes, you set up kind of the world building to sort of explain those elements in, or not explain them in a weird way, which is an interesting choice as well. But yeah, I mean, I absolutely see why it caught on. That's for damn sure. So to rank this movie, I mean, it's hard. Like, I'm trying to divorce it from Fury Road as much as possible, because it's clear that Fury Road is like the vision that George Miller wished he could have pulled off here. But I'm going to separate that completely from my mind and just think of this film for what it is, what it achieves, how it gets around the issues of logistics of making it all work, and how well it all comes together. And I give this, you know, a solid 8.5. I just wish the villain was a bit more interesting and a bit more threatening, because he didn't really feel that threatening either, to be honest. He crashed his car and he kind of semi-choked the guy out, and then he just kind of stands there going, I sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I do wish that that element was better. But, you know, other than that, the action's great. The subtle indications about characters and stuff is great, and all that stuff. It was a good time. Good time. 8.5. Fun movie. Thank you for watching this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please hit the thumbs up button. It helps me know that you enjoyed it and helps this video get seen by other people. Maybe consider subscribing as well. That would be very lovely of you. And also, there's a bunch of other content. I do reactions to Firefly, Loki, other movies. Please do go check that out as well. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and I will catch you on the next one.